accomplishment. It's great to see you again.
You too. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. So the last time we talked to Risk was December, like we mentioned earlier. And so why don't you start by telling us what you've been doing over the last 3 months?
Oh wow, the last 3 months have been kind of crazy. We're doing a lot of stuff. We have the Topps baseball card project. Some of these cards right behind me are for that. It's the top 70 project. So they go on sale for 70 hours, and I pick 20 baseball players, and they make limited edition cards from it. We have all different versions. We have APs, we have some gold cards, platinum cards, a bunch of different cards. So that been doing that. Working with zillion symbols like this symbol.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you got
a zillion. Really cool. What else? We opened a new print shop. What else? We have a toy coming out. 2 shows. Am I forgetting anything?
Wow. You're busy.
Oh, we're doing my first public sculpture in Beverly Hills. We're doing that, and then another sculpture in Austin. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
So with the cards, how many are in the edition?
I'm doing 20 different ones. And how many do they make? Do you know?
I don't know.
I really don't know. With this limited edition, I think it's like, well, they're different. So the APs, there's like 10, and the gold cards, there's probably like 10. And then I think there's probably 400 each of the regular cards. I think there's 5,000 of the regular card that not signed or anything.
Yeah. They're really cool.
Yeah. And then where in Austin is your sculpture going to be?
No, Beverly Hills.
West Chelsea.
West Chelsea.
Oh, cool. I've been there. The gallery. Yeah.
Oh, right.
In Austin. Yeah. And then you also did a collaboration with Travis Barker at Maxfield in Malibu, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was really cool. We did that. I've known Travis forever. I've done a bunch of stuff with him, so that was really fun to do. You know, Travis and I go back from I had a clothing company called Third Rail years ago. And he used to come to the booth and get clothes. And then he started a company called Famous Stars and Straps, which was guitar straps and belts. And that turned into his clothing line. And we worked together. You know, I painted the warehouse and I did some designs for a couple of his lines. And we've been friends ever since. So that was really fun. I did his album cover and I did a wall for him about 8 months ago or something too. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Very cool.
What about Blink 82?
Yeah, you did the cover for Blink 182, right?
Yeah, we did that. He just got a new studio too. We were there the other day. It's amazing. I delivered some paintings over there. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
That's cool. So we've been interviewing artists all week, you know, kind of gearing up for tonight's event. And the last time we talked, I don't want to stun you now, but I talked to Tim Tater. The guy I showed you out of San Diego who used the models and paints them and everything.
Yeah.
And said, who else is going to be on? And I said, Risk. And he goes, oh, I would love to do a collaboration.
Yeah.
So I figured tonight.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
It would be cool. Yeah.
I actually painted my face. It's not quite like what he does, but I actually painted my face blue a couple months ago. And someone brought up his name when I did that. It's funny.
Yeah, he was thinking that you could paint the model and then he'd be shooting it, you know, using his photography skills, which would be cool. I'll be first in line to buy the piece in the first edition.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So,
and then where in Beverly Hills is your sculpture?
It's on Cannon Drive. It's outside of Julian's Auction House across the street from Mastro's, which is my favorite restaurant. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And actually, we just got word that we're going to do 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
So now we're doing 2 because it's kind of a corridor and they wanted it to match. So we're going to do 2 of them now. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And then when will those be live?
Yeah. That's probably 6 months if everything goes as planned. You know, we've been working on it for probably about 6 months already. So everything's going smooth. So it should be 6 months.
Awesome.
it's not the shark, is it?
No, that's going to Montauk.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you
Cool.
saying
Yeah.
that. So, Riss, let's go back because people can look, they can see the art behind you, and some of the people joining us this time weren't around 3 months ago when we were talking to you. Why don't you give them a little bit of an idea of how you began with street art, and you're one of the pioneers in LA, and you know, so many people in the art business know you. So let's do a little background there. Do you mind?
Yeah. So, I started doing graffiti in probably 1983 in Los Angeles, and that was like the beginning of graffiti in Los Angeles. New York was like the 70s, and we were a little late to catch on. And it was the big breakdancing craze and all that stuff. And I was a surfer, and I got in a lot of trouble at school, and I wasn't a great student. And I used to draw on my desk. I used to draw waves and write wipeout and stuff like that. And, one day I'm sitting in school drawing a wave. I think it was in my algebra book or on my desk, something. And this kid's like, "What do you write?" I'm like, "I don't write. I draw pictures." And he goes, "What do you write?" I'm like, "I don't write, man. I draw fucking pictures." So he kept asking me what I write. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I draw pictures. He goes, "No, the subculture of graffiti is writing." And he explained the whole thing to me. I was like, "Oh," he goes, "You need a tag." I'm like, "Oh shit, I guess my tag's surf." So I made my tag surf. Oh, he showed me some photos of trains too. So he had these photos in his backpack of trains, and I was blown away. I was like, "Wow, these things are so fucking cool." I mean, it's just trains. The first time we saw subway graffiti, it's amazing, right? So that day I went to the hardware store, and I stole like 2 cans of red and 2 cans of white. Went back to my high school. I sat there like idiot, like outside the school, just waiting for it to get dark, just staring at the school. I don't know how I didn't get busted, but it was like dusk, and I jumped the fence, and I went and I found this little spot by the bungalows, and I did this big surf piece, and it was white outline and red. It was just terrible. It was huge though, and I was just like addicted to it. I mean, I love spray paint. When I was a kid, I used to paint BMX bikes and haunted houses. I just love spray paint. So the next day at school, I was like, oh man. I went and looked at it, and there's like a crowd of like 100 kids. And I was like, oh shit. And they're like, "That's so fun." I'm like, "That's cool?" And they go, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, really? All right, cool." So I liked it. I was like, "Oh, cool. I could get better." So I kept doing it, and I got better. But I got addicted to it, like super addicted to it. Like I went out every night. I started realizing you go in the middle of the night, you have more time and use different colors and more colors. And slowly but surely, I started doing graffiti, and I didn't surf. I couldn't wake up at 5 in the morning and go surfing anymore because I was painting at 5 in the morning. So I started doing graffiti, and I got totally enthralled with it. And I searched the whole city looking for New York graffiti because that's what I wanted to find. And then I didn't find any. I found one dude that was this guy named Soon that was from New York, and his stuff was way better than ours at the time. And it was just amazing to me. I was like, just kept going through that neighborhood. So I found him and I met him, and I started hanging out with him. He taught me a lot about graffiti. And so I was addicted to graffiti. So I went throughout LA, and I was just like totally consumed with it. So I started painting through all the neighborhoods, and that led to all that stuff. I got shot, stabbed, all the stuff that you would think went with it. But it was just such a high for me, and it was like the lesser of two evils, and it really kind of saved my life because I wasn't a bad kid. I was bad because I was doing vandalism, graffiti, but I wasn't a bad kid anymore. I was like not worried about like all the other stuff I was worried about before. And then when I started getting a little notoriety, I lived in Hollywood, which was very lucky and cool because, they're filming movies all over the place. And I'd drive by and it's like, "What is that?" They go, "Graffiti." I go, "No, it's not." I go, "Who did that?" Like, "It's set graffiti." I'd say, "Listen, let me do it. I'll do it for free." So I'd paint the graffiti, and they started saying, "Yeah, come by and do it." And I was like, "Cool." And then I was young. So I was like, "All right, well, I want like lunch." And they're like, "All right, cool." They gave me craft services.
Right.
I'd only go to the productions that had craft service. If they didn't have craft service, I wouldn't do it. And then eventually they started hiring me. That led on to me doing, MTV, Michael Jackson, Budweiser, Playboy magazine, everything you could think of. I started doing, and I started realizing I had a career. I ran away at 16. I got my first studio in Hollywood at 16. I was like a little dumpy studio, and I was an artist, and I just did art to survive. Top ramen, stuff like that. And it was just, I thought everything was awesome, But then when I get the Michael Jackson video, things kicked into a different gear. I was like, oh, wow, this is a little different. And that's how it started. I was really lucky too, because in the beginning, I was able to talk them into doing risk pieces and not like Budweiser or Playboy or stuff like that. I'm like, you want it to be real, it's got to say risk, And they're like, all right, cool. So let me do it. So I got a lot of notoriety quick, and then I eventually got good. And I went on to win the world championship with a guy named Slick, who was my partner. He did characters, I did letters, and that was like by this time it was 87 or 88 or something like that. And we won the world championship in London. And then I came back, I got scholarships to Art Center, USC, and Savannah School of Design. And I went to USC, and I was really lucky there too, because graffiti was still new. So my teachers let me write the curriculum for myself, basically. So when people are like doing like fruit bowls and stuff like that, they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'll hang a spray can from a noose. And that was my oil painting, stuff like that. And it was cool. So I had a great experience with that. And then I got kicked out of school for painting the roof of the school, which I asked them if I could paint on the roof. And they said yes, but I don't think I think they thought I was going to take an easel and paint. I don't know. I meant paint on the roof. So I got kicked out. But they reinstated me. My teachers were awesome. They made a big fuss about it, reinstated me, and they made a poster of the mural, and they sent it to every high school in the United States. At the time, that's the first time they ever recruited for the fine arts department. And it was great. And that's how it all kind of started, and it just kind of kept going. And I never looked back,
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
It is. And I mean, you've done projects from, smaller pieces to the huge courtyard in San Diego. It's incredible.
Yeah. And, listen, people always ask me if I ever thought I'd be in a museum or a gallery. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, that's why we do that, of course. I always thought that was the dumbest question ever when they said that. Because I'm like, well, once you start doing over 10 years, like, yeah, and this is your career, you expect to be in galleries and museums. That's what you go for. But what I didn't expect was when I got knighted by the Medici family, that one I would have never thought in a million fucking years. So that one blew me away,
That's awesome.
Graffiti's been quite the ride for me.
It has, and
Sounds
congratulations on a ever increasing career. So I want to let all the viewers know, if you want to see more of Risk's work, just go to his page, his booth exhibitor page here on the site. And at the end of today's event, be sure to stick around, because Risk does happy hours, and he did an interview with Travis Barker, and we're going to play that at the end of the hour today. And it's great fun to see these two friends talking about their experiences. But Risk, thanks for joining us again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.